Welcome to the Sponsored Rider Club podcast, your guide to motorsports sponsorship. Here's your host, Josh Wiese.
Welcome to the Sponsored Rider Club podcast, which is powered by 4-Wheel Parts. Today's episode features Shawn Widdicombe. I'm calling it Shawn Widdicombe 2.0. This is the second time he's been on the show, and we get caught up on all the cool stuff he's been doing in the motoclimb world. He's brought on a bunch of new sponsors. He shares those stories, how he's attracted them, and it's really just a fun catch-up session. Lots of good stuff in this episode, so hang tight for that. Before we get into that, though, a few things I want to cover. One is iTunes and ratings. Please head over to iTunes and leave a rating and review. I would appreciate that. It is a big deal for podcasts in general, and it does a lot for the exposure of the show. So head over to iTunes, leave that rating and review. That would be great. Or you can shoot me an email with your feedback, josh@sponsoredriderclubpodcast.com. Now, I need to tell you about 4-Wheel Parts a little bit. They have a ton of great deals going on, and no matter what, they always run these deals around promotional financing. It's always subject to credit approval, but you can get 6 months of promotional financing through their Synchrony Car Care card. And if you're like me and you put a lot of money in your vehicles, you know, it takes some financing every now and then. But they still have $500 off different tires and wheel packages. They've got some deals on DV8 off-road trail gear, and that's something that I don't think they've had available previously, so that's there. Different exhaust systems and stuff are available, especially for some of the new Jeep applications that, you know, the Gladiator's coming out big right now. JL, a lot of the aftermarket stuff is catching up for the JL world, so go ahead and check out those things. There's also 20% off Pro Comp wheels, 10% off certain bumpers out there. So either way, lots of good stuff. So head over there to 4wheelparts.com, check it out. And also, I got to shout out our other sponsors. We've got tons of great supporters for the show. AMSOIL, they provide amazing lubrication products, and they are a company that runs on freedom. You can find out more at amsoil.com/rider. SolderWeld, they produce game-changing metal bonding technology, and they're ready to rescue your race. TopThePodium.com, they're experts in motorsports sponsorship, website creation, and social media marketing. Bold Racing, they're a family race team, and GSP XTV axle specialists. And then Crash Addict Industries, they provide human protection and extreme racing products. I also want to shout out some of our other partners, including MBRP, HMK USA, Studboy Traction, GSP XTV, Diode Dynamics, and High Octane Coffee. Now I want to get into the show, but I need to give a heads up about what's coming next. We've got Joe Sylvester of High Octane Coffee giving us the marketing tune-up of the week. And then right after that, we will get into the show with Shawn Widdicombe.
What's up, guys? Joe Sylvester here with your High Octane Coffee marketing tune-up of the day. Today I want to talk about sponsor attraction. Sponsor attraction, to me, is a much better tactic than quote-unquote sponsor hunting. You want to build your brand. You want to establish yourself in the racing community and in the marketing realm of things. And, you know, as a respected individual, as a professional, you don't want to just keep knocking on doors and hoping somebody answers. You want the sponsors to come to you. That is the most ideal situation for you to be in, and it's the most ideal situation for them. Believe it or not, companies do have, you know, people that work for them or even owners of companies. They take notice on social media. They see what's going on, and they see the brands. They see the people that stand out. Make yourself stand out from the rest. Be very active on social media. Be very active with your press releases. Try to grow your email database. And like I said, build your brand. Make your brand something that a company would be proud to be associated with. And like I said, when they come to you, it's a much better feeling than sitting there all night long sending out 100 emails. I know this from experience, trust me.
Today's show features returning guest Shawn Widdicombe, and I call this Shawn Widdicombe 2.0. So welcome back. Last time you were on here was episode 116. This time it's 171. So I don't know. Let's get right into it, Shawn. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Remind the audience who you are, and let's get into what you have been up to.
Yeah, I'm just a professional hill climber from up in Billings, Montana. But yeah, just been cruising around, hitting every hill climb we can, and that's pretty much what I'm trying to do right now.
So, and your kid is getting more and more into it, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. Actually, my son is kind of, the whole reason why I'm trying to do this so much is he's starting to get pretty good at it. He's 10 years old, and pretty much every hill climb we go to, he's on the podium. So that's it's fun to just see him do really good. And if I can do good and win some money, that's good too.
Yeah. That's pretty cool. I love watching the racing families kind of like grow up, and it's really cool when the next generation is like a little bit faster, a little bit better than the previous generation. Like you could see the dads and the moms like start stepping back, like, okay, well, I can see now that like I can really invest into you, and it's gonna be, I don't know, I really like seeing that stuff. And or when there's a couple of like there's a father-son UTV race crew out there, or sorry, father-daughter, and Sierra Romo and her dad, and she's, I don't know how old she is now, 18 or 19 or 20, but either way, she'll beat him sometimes in races, which is kind of cool. I don't know. I just think the whole family thing growing up in the sport is pretty fun.
Yeah, for sure. I'm a fourth generation hill climber.
Right.
And I'm the third, and my kid is the fourth. So, being able to see him, he really is starting to get really good. Every time we go riding, it kind of amazes me, just because, some of the hills that we hit are, they're honestly kind of scary, big ledges at the top and big jumps through the middle, and he just hits them wide open on his 65 or his 85, and sometimes he kind of scares me.
Yeah.
He seems to not have quite the grasp on when to let off sometimes, but there's no fear in that either. So it kind of gives him an advantage against some other kids that might not have exactly the same drive that he has to just keep her wide open.
When in doubt, throttle out.
Yeah.
Just he's in doubt a lot.
He is in doubt a lot.
Oh, that's cool though. That's cool. My dad is trying to get my youngest son into like drag racing, and we've never really been into drag racing as a family. I mean, we've watched races and stuff, and I'm talking like NHRA, IHRA, mini dragster type stuff.
Yeah.
And we've not really been that into it, but he's just like, man, he bought an actual frame, a mini dragster frame, and he's like, I'm gonna build it. And I told my wife, and I was like, and my wife got injured pretty badly in a quad accident like maybe 10, 11 years ago, so that's kind of put the fear in her. I mean, rightfully so.
Yeah.
So like, I said, hey, my dad's building the mini dragster. She's like, oh, okay. Yep. So we're just gonna look at that, or I don't understand like what the concept is here. But either way, he's got one. I don't know if he'll finish it or not. I mean, I know it's a lot of work, but either way, it's kind of, I would be interested to see what my youngest son would do in a little dragster. He's got like I don't know what it is. He's got the fear in him, which I do too. That's one of the reasons why I've never really raced stuff. But like, he's got the fear in him, but he's also got this like aggression. Like he just needs to get it out somehow. And I think if he just felt the speed, I think he'd be like addicted to it.
Yeah, almost a competitiveness.
Yeah, he's got that.
That's how. You can really tell like a kid who's going to be probably pretty good. I think personally, from just growing up, seeing all the motorsports and stuff like that, even just regular sports, a kid who at a really young age is very competitive and like hates to lose, that's going to make a really great athlete when they get older, because it really motivates them to keep winning, and that's something you don't always see nowadays.
Right.
They give out participation awards and stuff like that. That's awesome, but my kid's rule is that if he didn't do good enough to get first, second, or third, then he doesn't need a trophy.
Right.
So.
Yep. Yeah, it's funny watching the difference between my youngest and my oldest. So my youngest is 4, my oldest is 6. My 6-year-old could care less. Like, if you say, hey, let's, just a running race, he's like, okay, that's funny. Like, you go ahead and do whatever you're doing. I'm going to keep playing. And my youngest would be like, you want to race? You want to race? You want to go? Let's race. And I'm like, yeah, okay, dude. And then I'll beat him. Quite obviously right now. It's not too hard beating a 4-year-old in a foot race, but I'll beat him. He just loses his cool. I can see that. and I don't like losing either. So I'm like, oh, we're going. I'm gonna beat you as long as I can. Probably like 10 years you're gonna be smoking me. So I need to get my winning in now. Well,
you might have to drag him down. Knock him down on accident.
Yeah, I'll say I'm gonna get dirty. He's already pretty dirty when he's doing those races. He'll like bump into you, or he'll try to take out your feet. So I'll have to resort to those same tactics when he's a little bit older. I remember. So my dad's 6'4", and I'm like 5'8". So for most people listening, kind of put that in perspective. Well, my dad, as he got older, right, he couldn't run as fast as he used to. But I remember when I was like 14 or 15, I was quick, and I was like, Dad, I'll smoke you, and we took off, and he's like, look, I'm only racing to this, the end of this thing here. Like I'm not going this. We're not doing like a endurance race. And I was like, no matter what, Dad, I'll beat you. And I remember I took off running. I'm just full speed. I'm like, yeah, and all of a sudden it was like. And he comes past me, and I was like, what the heck? It was like a steam engine firing up behind me. He got past me, and that was the last time I ever saw him run, honestly. But he beat me. He did it.
Yeah, I like that song. Not as good as he once was, but as good once as he ever was.
That's it. Yeah, a little Toby Keith there. But I did something similar to my brother. My brother's 10 years older than me. I'm 32 now, and this is a while back, and he is, at least I thought he was out of shape, and I was like 14, or I thought I was tough, and and I could do, I don't know, 50, 60 push-ups or something, and I thought I was the coolest cat in town, and I was like, come on, Jeremy, let's do some push-ups, and he was always stronger than me growing up. He was 10 years older than me, and I was like, I finally got this guy, and man, I've never seen someone like get so red and sweaty, and I did like 59, and I was like, man, I'm tired. He's like, making all these noises and stuff, but he got to 60, collapsed. I don't think I ever saw him do another push-up since that point either, but he beat me. It's like, man, you guys got some heart in you. But now I'm thinking the same thing. I'm looking at I know my youngest son is gonna, beat the crap out of me when he's 14 or 15. He's gonna challenge me because I told him to shut his bedroom door or turn down the music. He's gonna come at me. He's gonna be massive like my dad. I'm like, oh, dude, I'm gonna have to take you out, bro. I have to take you out. But
yeah, you definitely don't want to have your 14-year-old beating you up or anything like that.
Both my kids are gonna be massive. They're just gonna be so big, and I just know it. So hopefully they just never choose to. Hopefully they just like me as a dad.
Yeah.
But we'll see. Well, hey, enough about kids beating up their dads. Let's talk more about you, man. It's been a while since you were last on. I don't know the exact time because honestly, time flies so fast. But it was episode 116. This is 171. Lots happened though. Tell me a little bit about some of your current adventures. What are you excited about right now? And then we'll go into some of your partners and sponsors.
Yeah. So basically hill climbing only runs from March until October because, most of the places with some pretty good size hills get snow and you can't really ride nitro bikes in the snow.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of look at X Games and see that.
You can barely ride nitro bikes like
bikes.
Normally, right? I mean, they got to be hard to ride.
Yeah. But we've been to California this year, Washington, and then we have one at local race, but it's a national event up here in Montana, and then just recently the Motoclimber Super Series started in July 4th weekend, and then we did the first round in North Dakota, and then the second round in Wisconsin, back-to-back weeks. And that just kind of brings us to now. I've had a pretty good season so far. The first couple rounds, Washington and California, pretty forgetful. Not gonna lie, it's hard to ride against guys that live in California, and so they can ride all year round.
Oh,
even though
yeah,
I mean, when we went to the first round in California, we still had 3 or 4 feet of snow on the ground at the end of March. So, there was no riding for us at that point. And even same in May, we'd only been riding like once or twice when we got to go to the second round. So just hard to compete against all these dudes that are, riding all year round basically. But had some pretty good luck in Columbus. It's actually, I'd call it the second biggest hill climb in the United States.
Okay.
We usually get about 10,000 spectators. Pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty good size spectator, but I was the only one to make it over the hill both of my rides in the open class.
Oh, no kidding.
So, and I ended up 4th, but only 4 guys went over. I know that sounds, at the time, I was pretty dang sure I was going to win because no one was going over the hill, but
right.
It ended up being all right and ended up getting 4th, which is, pretty decent. And being the only one to make it over both rides, I mean, it really is an accomplishment because it was by far the toughest hill I've ever had to do in a competition, at least.
Oh, wow. That's the crazy thing about moto climb and hill climb in general is, I mean, there's only one option, right? You go up, and if you don't, I guess I never really thought about people not making it up all the time. I mean, I know it happens, but I never thought about it being like a large scale factor where a lot of people don't make it up.
Yeah.
But, I mean, for anybody who's listening right now, the feeling where you're not making up a hill and you got to do something about it. And it is not a comfortable feeling, and especially on a dirt bike. I mean, on a snowmobile, like I've done that in a snowmobile, and you got a bunch of powder to soften your fall, and you just kind of roll down. It's no big deal. But dirt and rocks and all sorts of other things that you fall back on. Not good. Not good.
Well, and not only that, but the top of the hill was actually like it was probably a 12 to 15 foot like vertical and almost backwards. I mean, almost past vertical. And guys were launching their $10,000 hill climb bikes, off the top of this. It was crazy. It was really fun, but it was intense while you were doing it,
Oh, I bet.
When you got to the top of that, you just didn't know it was going to happen. And I don't know, got the lucky bounce a couple different times and was able to get it over. But
yeah, wow. Yeah, that's always the thing about hill climb or any sort of thing like that. If you don't make it up, you gotta come back down, and it's never fun going down. Especially you watch these shows or videos where these guys don't make it up, these gals don't make it up, right? And it's whether it's snowmobile or dirt bike or whatever, and it just rolls and it rolls and it rolls and it rolls and rolls and rolls and rolls. You're like, holy cow, how steep was this thing, or how far did they go, right? Videos never do it justice.
cool thing about this one is so we had it live on TV, and so the actual television got it on a pretty good angle. You can kind of tell how steep it was. But then another guy set up his live footage for his Facebook kind of right at the top where it goes straight up, and he kind of got the right angle on how steep it was. And like, even I was like, holy smokes, that is steep. I don't know how I did that.
Wow. Well, that's good though. Well, let's talk about who are some of your current sponsors and partners, and then actually in the next section we have a little spot where we're going to specifically talk about some of your new sponsors and how they kind of came on board. But let's just go through the gamut right now.
Yeah, so this year I was really lucky and kind of started early, kind of right after we had talked in September, and started getting some sponsor stuff together for the next season. And I had a resume built by a promoter of the Motoclimber series, Matt Musgrove, and that actually helped me out quite a bit. But I got FXR, the gear company, Rooster's Next MX Pro Shop.
Okay.
They're a suspension company. Zox Helmets, Lace Belt Company, Rocket Exhaust, MX Pro Goggles, Dirt Bike Kids, Cheremis, Phoenix Handlebars, IRC Tires, Team Peterson, Rhino Design, TCX Boots, Firepower Parts, Lucas Oil Products, Mojo Motorsports, Junk Covers, which is a underwear brand. Ironically enough, I somehow got an underwear sponsor this year.
That's awesome. I don't know if I've had someone on the show with.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think like Amy Hood is sponsored by Ethica or something, but that's different.
Yeah.
That's pretty funny. Junk covers. When you first said it, I was like, what? This is for like your bike? It's a cover for your bike, maybe?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I don't know. I was pretty lucky to get that though, and I don't know, it just kind of worked out. And then the last one is Mountain Mama CBD oil, which I don't know if I'm, as of right now, I think I'm or I guess there's another guy now, but the first CBD sponsored hill climb rider. So
no kidding.
Pretty lucky to get that and to kind of expand into a different market. Yeah. That's kind of what I was looking for, because so many motorcycle based sponsorships are, they're beat into everybody's head. So I was like, you know what, I'm going to try to go after some different types. And luckily for me, that kind of worked out. And this company was like way excited. The owner, she was kind of like almost taken back that I was interested in partnering with her. And then when it happened, she's all kinds of excited. So that kind of worked out, and she's been really awesome to deal with. And
that's some cool non-endemic sponsor stuff there. Now I'm trying to look up junkcovers.com. Looks like buy 3, get your 4th free right now at junkcovers.com.
Yeah, if you use the code Shawn10, you get 10% off.
They're going to get millions of orders tonight. One for every listener.
I hope.
It is the listener base is roughly 83% male, 17% female, so you are probably marketing it to the right group right now. Yep.
Yeah. Well,
look at this. See?
So
100%.
It's playing for
all right,
everybody.
their competitors get a little weird. Gonna be honest with you.
Yeah.
Okay, I gotta do not Google this, folks. Just go right to junkcovers.com. It just gets weird otherwise. Super weird. But hey, that's what Google's all about, right? Sometimes it just gets weird. That's cool. So we're probably going to talk a little bit more about some of those because I don't remember all those last time. But I did have another question. What was the helmet company that you said? Zonx.
Zox helmet.
Zox.
Z-O-X.
Okay.
Yep, Z-O-X.
Okay. I'm going to look. Did you have them last time? Do you know? Ooh.
No. Basically, all of those except for the MX Pro Shop, the Rooster's Nest, and Team Peterson and Rhino Designs, and Lace Belt. Those are pretty much everything else is new for this year.
Yeah, okay, this looks pretty good. I don't know if anybody knows this, but I love helmets. I could just buy a new helmet every day. Other than how much they cost, but yeah, these look pretty sweet. I mean, I'm looking at some of I think these might be street bike helmets. That look pretty cool. Here's some of the moto ones. Yeah, they look good. Like I said, I love helmets. I don't even have anything to use a helmet with anymore. Yeah, I love helmets. Oh no, I got a snowmobile. What am I talking about? I got a snowmobile. I just don't have anything off-road.
Yeah, well, even if you had a stationary bicycle, you might need
that's a good call.
A helmet. A Zox helmet.
And then let's see. Oh yeah, these are sweet looking. I like them. Street, dirt, snow. Oh, they have snow too. Okay.
Yeah, they're based out of Canada, so they came on just actually in about May. They contacted me, and they're kind of a newer company, and so they were seeing if I wanted to be a brand ambassador, and I said, heck yeah. They and they're carbon fiber helmets, super light, and of course, everything on it is as safe as can be. So I got pretty lucky with that one too, to just kind of be in the right spot at the right time while they were looking for a brand
that's awesome.
ambassador.
Looks like they have, just from a price point standpoint, they can compete with HJC on like some of their entry level ones, maybe even some, and then even in the higher end ones, maybe like a little bit of Fox. They got one that gets up to 270. I like this Matrix Carbon.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that is so sweet.
Yeah. Yeah, but I have a couple of those. And they're super
it just
light.
Looks good
that
too.
was kind of like super slick, and really, really cool.
All right, folks, go and buy some junk covers, and I would recommend the Matrix Carbon helmet. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Okay, so we're gonna move on from my obsession with helmets. I almost forgot that I was obsessed. I have my old fly racing helmet from when I had my Razor, and I keep it on my desk. I love it so much. It's just I literally don't even use off-road helmets anymore because I got a Jeep and that's what I do all my off-roading in. But I just keep this helmet here and I like to look at it.
Well, like I said, even if you had a stationary bike,
you
might need it.
Well, hey, what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to take a quick break to thank the sponsors for this podcast, and we'll come back in to the main event.
Sounds good.
Hey guys, George Hamill here to talk about SolderWeld's new off-road repair kit. If you're a racer of any type or an off-road enthusiast like myself, you're going to want to take a close look at this product that bonds metal on the spot. SolderWeld has combined some of their most elite products into one small kit that fits perfectly under your seat or strapped to a roll cage and allows you to make some insane fixes anywhere you go. How many of us have been in a race or out on the trail and got a rock chip in a radiator or brake line? We have seen a top-tier desert race team at the 2019 Mint 400 taken out by a simple rock to the radiator. If they had an off-road repair kit on board, they could have been back up and running in just minutes. The kit includes everything you need to work on dirty aluminum, stainless steel, copper, and many other metals. SolderWeld's cutting-edge technology allows you to make these fixes with extremely low heat and incredibly high tensile strength, leaving you a lasting fix every time. Don't be that guy broke down on the side of the trail. Get your off-road repair kit today, and your friends will thank you.
2 questions I get continuously about this show and about sponsorship is, do I need my own website and do I need a resume? The answer is, in my opinion, yes to both, and that's why we partner with TopThePodium.com. Now, if you want to see an example of what a professional website and what a professional resume looks like, you gotta check out TopThePodium.com. They did my website. The Sponsored Rider Club Podcast website is SponsoredRiderClubPodcast.com. That was created by Jeff Vanistall of TopThePodium.com. I think it's awesome. I get a lot of good feedback about it. And there's a number of other websites out there that Jeff has produced that are just phenomenal. So I think it's important in this world of social media where you have control of your content. That's what a website does. It gives you full control. We don't know what Facebook's going to do sometimes. We don't know what Instagram's going to do. We don't know what Twitter's going to do. So if we don't have that central location to direct people and house our content, there is some risk that we incur. So I strongly recommend getting a website, talking to TopThePodium.com. And then the resume, again, is massive. And if you want to stand out, get it done professionally. And honestly, it is one of the best ways to step up your game and present yourself in the best way possible. Safety is our overriding priority. I hear it all the time, but I have to ask myself, is it though? Is that the first thing we think of? Is that the first thing you think of? Over the past couple of years, we've seen the performance of production UTVs increase, somewhere around 350%. That means these machines give us a lot more opportunity to have fun and win races, but it also, unfortunately, gives us new opportunities to crash. And that's why we have partnered with Crash Addict Industries. The owner, Travis Pointer, became very accustomed to crashing early in his career. He saw it as inevitable, and he set out to make the process safer. With a passion for racing, welding, and engineering, Crash Addict Industries now produces full cage and other protection systems intentionally designed to protect you during an accident on the track. They also offer a line of human protection products through their vendors. Do this for me at this point. If you're racing with a stock cage right now, please go check out CrashAddict.com and at least see what they have to offer. Even if you choose to go with a different company, please make safety your overriding priority. Family race team. Those are the first words that come to mind when I think of Bold Racing. And the next one is actually axles. Bold Racing is a premier distributor of GSP XTV axles. And if that wasn't cool enough, they just came out with an entirely new axle called the Revolution axle. It is a hollow tube axle. It's really cool. If you head over to their website, gspxtv.com, or you can find out more at boldracingltd.com, you can find out how this new axle technology works. So they are saying to view this as a fuse for your drivetrain. So the hollow tube CV axle twist technology actually increases the strength and reliability of the axle, and it also reduces stress on the drivetrain. Plus, honestly, it's super cool looking, and if people know me, they know that I really like cool looking stuff. So they come in this really cool gold color. Check it out. It's absolutely revolutionary. Let's talk about the engine in your racing vehicle for a second. You know, a failed rod or main bearing can end a race as quickly as a wreck, and that's why it's critical to use the best lubricants, AMSOIL synthetic lubricants. If you know anything about racing and competition, you know AMSOIL. That's because AMSOIL synthetic lubricants have earned the trust of racers everywhere. AMSOIL synthetic lubricants deliver exceptional protection against wear. They fight extreme heat in the toughest conditions, and they reduce friction, helping maximize power. On asphalt, dirt, water, snow, whatever, AMSOIL synthetic lubricants are the premium choice for your race vehicle. Upgrade to AMSOIL today to grab a competitive edge on the track. Go to AMSOIL.com SolderWeld.com/rider for details. All right, welcome back, everybody. We are now in the main event. So Heat 2, we kind of hit the background there, pretty hardcore. But I want to talk about some of these new sponsors that you brought on board. You know, I want to hear some of the stories behind how you came on, how you brought them into your business here. There's been a lot that happened, more than I was expecting, honestly. I mean, you and I had talked ahead of time a little bit about what the show was going to be, but there's more here in terms of new sponsors and stuff than I was expecting. So let's hear a couple stories. I mean, I don't know which one would you like to start with, but go ahead and pick one.
Well, okay, so the FXR, they as far as gear, man, they have just been so good to me. I contacted them actually pretty much the same time that I did the show last year, and the brand manager, Andy White, he got back to me like literally within a couple of hours, and he was, super excited that I was interested, and we kind of hashed things out, and it was just kind of another thing, kind of right place, right time, and was able to, lock them up as a sponsor. And honestly, they've been really good. We just went to their headquarters in Minnesota last weekend, I guess. Yeah, it would have been last weekend. And they brought me around to where they're doing all their designing and stuff like that. And it's kind of I think they're transferring their headquarters down from up in Winnipeg down to the Minnesota part. I think just for, I'm assuming tax purposes.
Yeah, a lot of companies do it for tax reasons.
It's but so they're kind of transitioning down to the U.S. and I mean they literally have everything you could ever need for snow. They have some bicycle stuff, fishing stuff. I mean, it was really way more than I expected, and it was a really cool place to be able to go to. And FXR has just been really awesome to me. And the next one would probably be Firepower Parts. So how I kind of heard about them was on the Pulp MX podcast. And so I've had a really tough time with my hill climb bike stretching chain because my one nitro bike is 225 horsepower. So, and we run conventional 520 chain like on a regular 450 dirt bike. And so we can keep all of our sprockets the same. And so I heard about them, and I think just through Instagram, I messaged their Instagram page, and immediately the brand manager, Kirk, got back to me and was super interested, super excited to work with me. And before we would go about 2 rides before our chains were stretched out, and I've been riding on half the season now with this chain, and haven't stretched it out yet. So it is like, and we were using probably the most expensive 520 chain you could go buy, and this stuff is marketed as same quality, half the price, but it's honestly a better quality. It's worked way better than anything I could ever imagine. Yeah. And when I contacted them, they were kind of just they're a newer brand as well. They've been doing batteries for a long time, but they're kind of expanding. They're a fly racing company with WPS, and it's been working with them has been awesome. And it's their brand manager Kirk is awesome. Anytime I need anything, he's the first one to message me, ask me how I did at the last hill climb. just a really cool company to work with.
That's really cool. One thing that it's kind of interesting, I typically, while I'm doing these episodes with people, I mean, you can tell sometimes I'll like narrate through it where I'll pull up a website and find out more information about something I don't know, but I do it with people as well. So when you first mentioned Andy White, I went into LinkedIn, and for people who don't use LinkedIn to make connections with like brand managers and sponsorship managers and marketing managers, like you got to start, because it is perfect for that sort of stuff. But I looked up Andy White, and I'm connected with him already in LinkedIn. So that's kind of crazy that you had just mentioned that. And yeah, I was already connected with him, but maybe I'll have to see if he wants to come on the show. But
yeah, he used to be. Yeah, for sure. I can almost guarantee that he would. Yeah, he used to be the factory KTM manager in Canada.
For 10 years he did that.
I think back
Race
in the
team
early
manager,
2000s.
marketing manager, 10 years.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and I think he's just kind of decided to step away from that and step into FXR, and he really is like a joy to work with. Like,
That's
a really
awesome. And
guy.
I have nothing but good things to say about FXR as well. I've not actually used any of their stuff, but just the way they market their company, and I'm big on the way, you've probably heard it with the helmets, I'm big on the way things look. I love aesthetics. I almost did industrial design when I was younger, and FXR does a fantastic job with their designs. I mean, it's just always cutting edge. Their snowmobile gear is beautiful. It's pretty popular out in the Midwest here. There's a lot of people use FXR. They do a good job. But the next thing, just go back to your your bike and the chain and being able to maintain that horsepower. I just want to put it in perspective for some people. So my snowmobile is running 225 horsepower, but it's 640 pounds. It's a 1100 turbo, and it's got all sorts of power loss, right? Because the snowmobile tracks are just like animals to turn over, and that thing has gobs of power, just gobs. So it's kind of crazy, like hearing 225 in a small frame like that, and that one that the chain can handle that. It's a lot longer chain than what I'm dealing with too.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and I mean, to put it in perspective, like my the 990 that has the 225 horsepower roughly weighs 50 pounds more than a 450.
Yeah, wow.
So, I mean,
that's
really
crazy.
light.
Now, okay, last episode I remember us talking about how many bikes you had, and you couldn't even count them all. I mean, what are you all sitting at right now? Do you know?
Yeah. So, ironically enough, my brother has recently decided that he kind of wants to take a step back from hill climbing. So he just wants a 450. So he had, basically 6 bikes with his number on it. And we've sold 5 of them, I think, within the last last week. Yeah, so I don't know, maybe I should go into salesman. Maybe I should be a salesman, because I seem to be able to sell pretty fast. But now, so then with that happening, we went and bought 2 brand new KTM 450s, which one for my brother, because that's all he kind of wants to ride now, and then a new one for me or my dad, kind of spare bike, because last weekend was 2 weeks ago in North Dakota for the first round of the Motoclimber series. I actually had a axle malfunction and had my transmission completely wiped out my transmission. So we were left with me riding my brother's bike, and I don't like to ride other people's bikes, and the comfortability factor was not there for me. So I pretty much did terrible at the second round in Wisconsin. So when we came home, we sat down and we said, let's never do that again. Let's go get a couple of new bikes. So if this ever happens, we have a backup right there. That's it. That we can throw everything on that one. So that's kind of why we went and bought a couple new ones. And it just, so I mean, right now with my bike, so I think we have 11 bikes total right now. So, and I think 5 of them are mine, 2 of them are my kids, 2 of them are my nephews, and then 1 for my brother. Well, actually, you know what? That I actually have another 450 sitting there with a 490, with a 490 kit in it. So I think there's 12. Yeah, but we've sold 5 this week. So I mean, usually we're pretty heavy in the bike department, but
if y'all call Shawn right now, you will get 5% off your next bike order. ShawnWiddicombe.com.
Yeah.
Promo code is podcast10. I don't know. Does that sound good?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah, if someone wants to buy a Cruiser and a custom with a 710 big bore kit in it,
and it's 10% off, but all your products are marked up 10% from the get-go. So this brings you back down to base price. It's like what the furniture stores do.
Yeah,
they give you 50% off, but it's a 60% up markup.
Yeah, it's already been marked up once.
Well, good. Yeah. That's cool. That's some good stories there. Yeah. Let's go. I gotta know about the junk covers thing. How the heck did that happen? I mean, you said that it was kind of crazy, but like, how'd you fall into that?
So I don't exactly remember. It was around Christmas time, and there were newer companies that popped up. And for some reason, I mean, I'm always looking for new companies because, you know, if you get, it's hard to grow yourself, but I find it a little bit easier that if a new company is around, that you can kind of attach yourself to that and grow with them. And so they kind of just hit me up and, asked if I want to be a brand ambassador. I was like, heck yeah. I never think that I would get an underwear sponsor. So I was like, yeah, of course I will. And so they all of a sudden I had an underwear sponsor. I mean, as a climber, I mean, I like to think I'm probably the only one with an underwear sponsor. I mean, it was pretty cool though to kind of expand into a different market that normally I would never even think of.
So I always encourage people to bring on non-endemic sponsors, meaning, you know, sponsors outside of the industry, because then you're bringing money into motorsports, and that ultimately helps us grow. So that's pretty cool that happened. But did they hit you up on like instant message or, you know, via email or okay?
Yeah. No, yeah, just on Instagram.
It's you know, I did a show recently where I complained about how people misuse DMs. One thing I did not cover in that is how companies actually use them quite a bit to make contact with people. I mean, it's you know, it's a legit option, and it's used more. It's used more nowadays, meaning even just within the past year, 2 years, I think, than it used to be. It used to be almost unacceptable for, you know, for people to make a connection via a DM and like ask for a true sponsorship, and now they're like making proposals that way.
Yeah, it really did. It looks just like that, and it's not the only company that's happened with. Just being able to make that connection with them like instantly. That's kind of the thing is, sometimes emails get lost in your junk email, or a good old fashioned letter. Probably sponsors don't even return those anymore, but it seems like sliding into the DMs always works. It seems like you always get an instant response at least.
No, that's good. Well, that's cool. So, any other ones that you wanted to share?
Yeah, the story with Phoenix Handlebars. They're a newer handlebar company, and I was able to. I don't know about the first sponsored rider, but probably one of their first guys. And the owner, Jason, he used to be a designer at Fox, and then just recently moved away from them and started his own company, named it after his son, Phoenix. And the guy has just been so awesome to work with. He, like the night that we first started talking, he called me and we sat there and talked on the phone just like we are for, I don't know, probably an hour. And, that normally does not happen with, it's usually just text and email and stuff like that. And for him to call and like, he wanted to know all about me and wanted to know, about my kids and stuff like that. And I mean, it was really awesome to make that connection. Like it felt like you were talking to a buddy after that. And, that just does not happen, especially in the motocross industry. It seems like if you do make a connection with a company, they really do just want to talk, via email or text. So to be able to make that was awesome. And he's treated me really good. Kind of the cool thing about his company is he does the different bar heights, but the sweep of the bars, like how far they're tilted back in the handle positioning, is all the same. So because I mean, that is kind of a confusing thing if for somebody who just kind of enters into motorcycles, you call a different company and there's like 30 different bar bends. You're like, I don't know which one to get. Yeah. With him, it's all based off height. So it really does help that way. And I'm super glad to make that connection with him. And hopefully I can continue with all those brands into the future, because it's harder and harder to get sponsors nowadays. And it's kind of like it's almost dying out, like a true sponsorship, because you can go online and almost get a discount any place you want. Yeah. Whether it's through a online like an online distributor or something like that. They're always making it feel like you're getting a discount. So I think it's hard for these companies to actually give discounts when, or even just free product in itself, when you can go online and get a discount code from somewhere, or you're getting 10% off from Motorsport or something like that.
Yeah, that's a legitimate concern. I mean, there's a couple of layers of this. I probably could do a show just on this, honestly, but one challenge is that riders and racers, influencers that don't know their own value can, undersell themselves, and they'll say, yeah, I'll throw your sticker on the side of my car, massive, and don't just give me 20% off, right? And I'm not going to tell you that that's right or wrong, but I'm just saying and what it does, the effect that it has is someone who was previously, getting $4 or $5 grand for the same size logo on their vehicle in the same race series. Now, when people start finding out, they're like, okay, well, is this really the right value? And so then, and I don't know if that's right or wrong. I mean, maybe it's capitalism, maybe it's competition. I don't know, but it's definitely an effect. And then the other thing is, I've had people, a lot of people reach out to me and tell me about their sponsorship like challenges that they faced, and I've had influencers reach out to me and they're like, I'm not sure if my sponsorship is better than just shopping around. They're, even if it is 20%, which is great, right? If you got 20% off a product, especially if it's something expensive, that's phenomenal.
Yeah.
But some people have told me before, like, yeah, I'm with this company and it's great, but I'm doing work for them, and I literally I found the same product on Amazon for 22% less. Like, I'm actually paying more to do this work. And
yeah.
I don't have a good answer to that. That's challenging, but I will say, just people, if you're listening to the show and you're in that situation, like, you want it to be valuable for them and for you. So you might need to rethink some of those opportunities.
Yeah. And I've to try to make it more valuable for those companies, I always try to maybe make like a special like Instagram video or something like that. I did one for Mojo Motorsport, and then my suspension company, the Rooster's Nest, where I did like a Napoleon Dynamite thing. I don't know. It was kind of funny, but I got a lot of feedback on that. They loved it and stuff. So try to do that sort of thing. Instagram has changed so much over the last year, as far as followers and likes and comments, all that kind of stuff, that it really has made it challenging. I've noticed for lots of different people, I mean, including myself, where before I'd post a picture, and let's say I have 14,000 followers, and I would get 1,400 likes,
right.
So 10%.
Which is good. For people listening, like, that's good.
Now,
10% is awesome.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, and it was. And for a long time, I would consistently get that, and then maybe even a little bit more. Well, Instagram has completely revamped their entire layout and how people see your images or videos, and all of a sudden it's hard to get 400 likes. And I'm like, what the heck? And you go on there and your reach is a lot less. How many people, how many impressions there is a lot less. And it just makes it kind of a lot tougher. You actually have to really make sure you're putting out like a really good picture or video. So if the first 10 people that see it like it, then it'll send it and make sure that it's on the next 20 people who are following you. It's not like it used to be, where you log on there and the last person who posted is right there. It's that you could pop it up, and a post from 3 days ago could be on there from somebody that you would normally like, but you didn't like that picture. It's kind of they've just completely done away with the way I think it should be, but it's made it a lot harder for you to expand your brand, I guess.
It's the same thing Facebook did, and obviously Instagram is owned by Facebook. They changed a few things up, and I'll tell you what it's done, unfortunately, for, at least for Facebook. I'm not sure if it's done it for Instagram yet, but I'll see like the same post multiple times. I'm like, okay, I got it. Like, understood. This is I did like it. But I don't want to see it 3-4 times. Like, why does this keep showing up? Go away. And I don't know how that's come about, but it's kind of frustrating, especially since there is other good content out there. But yeah, I actually it was just last year, and I built a a Jeep Instagram profile is just for my Jeep, and I had a name for it and everything, and I was getting 20-30% engagement, and tons of followers, and it was like overnight, I swear, one day it dropped to 5%. And I just stopped getting new followers. What is going on? I mean, I literally changed nothing. I thought I was on fire. I was like, man, I got this thing figured out finally.
Yeah.
And I mean, I was getting great engagement, and now it's just, I don't even know. Actually, I'm gonna try to run some numbers here real quick because I'm not sure what percentage I'm at, but probably, let's see, divided by. I'm getting less, probably 6%. And I literally I'm using similar hashtags, if not the same ones. And I don't know what happened. I tried. Then after that, I was like, well, I thought it was maybe personal profile versus business profile. So I after hanging around at 5%, 6%, then I switched it up to a business profile, and it didn't change at all, up or down. So then I was like, oh well, maybe I'll boost a post, and well, there you go. I just signed my own, I don't know what you call it, but I signed my way into the only way I can get decent engagement now is with a boost, and well, I don't know if I'm ready for this. So yeah,
harder and harder.
Yeah, certainly. Time. Well, you know what else is getting harder and harder every time is finishing these shows without, I could just talk forever and ever and ever. But we got to wrap things up at some point here. So that's what we're going to do now. Really what I want to kind of closing out with is, what's one thing that our listeners need to take away from this show? If they forgot everything else, what's their one key takeaway?
To keep pushing for sponsors. That is the main goal. Almost to the point of harassment. I swear it works. It might not work on everyone, but it will work on some. And those are the ones, if it works on them, those are the ones that you want anyway. If you're not getting any feedback from these companies that you've applied for or have reached out to, those are the companies that you want anyway. Keep going for the ones that want you.
No, that's a really good point. And there is Lindsay Primo was on this show. She works at AMSOIL. I can't remember her exact role off the top of my head here, but it's in social media marketing, but she also takes in a lot of the intake for sponsorship stuff. And she basically said the squeaky wheel gets the grease. And then, which makes sense, but the challenge though is there's a line that you can cross. And the way I described it, because she that's what she was telling me, is there's a line you can cross, and then you're annoying. I said this is the analogy. Squeaky wheel gets the grease, but if the wheel is too squeaky consistently, it gets replaced. I'm throwing this wheel out. I'm done with greasing it. Greasing's not working. New wheel, please. So you want to be the squeaky wheel that gets the grease, not necessarily the wheel that gets tossed away in the trash for a new one. But it's a fine line.
It is, and sometimes you do have to be extra squeaky.
There is so many different forms of communication out there that, I mean, honestly, if you reach out to a sponsor and they don't get back with you right away, there's a legitimate, risk that they lost that communication, whether it was a DM or a messenger or an email. They can lose it. I know in my day job, I get tons of emails. The podcast, I get emails too. And then just my normal social media stuff. If I miss something, I can legitimately forget. And I have every intention of responding, and I might even take a note down to respond, and I still don't do it. And that's how these folks are, especially in some of these companies that they're popular, and they only have, maybe they're a relatively big company and they only have one person running their social media or one person running their sponsorship. They can get buried in messages. So you might be the best fit for them, and they just forget to get back with you.
Yeah. That I can see that definitely happening with a lot of these places.
Well, Shawn, what's the best way for people listening to connect with you?
So the best place is definitely on Instagram. It's Shawn, SHAWN, Widdicombe. And I swear, if you just type in SHAWN, WID, I'll be the first one that pops up.
Yep. And you got a pretty cool logo on there, too, that I don't remember if you had that last time, but you got a pretty sweet logo.
Yeah, I try to switch that up all the time, just so it doesn't get old, and so people, when they see my name, that they remember that sort of thing with it. So, yeah, I try to do that. And then on Facebook, it's Shawn Widdicombe 15 or Widdicombe Pro Hill Climbing, and same on YouTube. I try to post a YouTube video after every event, whether it's just the runs or it's like a day in the life of. I try to do that all the time.
That's awesome. And I will tell you, if you just Google Shawn Widdicombe images, the second response that comes up is episode 116, Shawn Widdicombe of the Sponsored Rider Club podcast. Hey, look at that! You're also it's also 1, 2, 3, the fourth one, and then a bunch of logos. Big Thunder, was that you? Shawn Widdicombe, Big Thunder. Nice.
Yep.
That's pretty cool too.
Yep, it is. Yep. That's
oh yeah, look at all these logos. Or is this just like did they type in anybody's name, or are these just different logos that you had? There's all sorts of stuff coming up on here.
I don't know. I'm looking myself right now.
Sorts of stuff.
I don't know. There's a whole bunch on here.
What I'm wondering is, I don't know if I type that, if like you put anybody's name in there, if they have algorithms that are like immediately putting them into something. I'm going to type my name into that in images. Yeah. Oh, wow, there's me. Twitter. Oh, and LinkedIn. Sweet. But no, I'm not getting all these logos like you are. What the heck? Man, you might need to look into that. Someone's like making some cash off of Shawn Widdicombe logos.
Apparently, yeah, I guess so. I might have to.
That's a good business opportunity. Maybe you can buy some of them and sell them back off to somebody else. But yeah. Well, good. Hey, this was a blast catching up. I love hearing your stories and these new sponsors coming on board. I love hearing the relationship you got with your son. And building him up and sticking with him. But hey, we got to close things out here and end this show. So I'm going to leave it with this. Have fun and ride safe.
Thank you. Have a good one.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Sponsored Rider Club podcast, which is powered by 4 Wheel Parts. Be sure to subscribe so that you don't miss any of our upcoming shows. Follow us on social media as well. That's where we share a lot of information and upcoming guests for the show. Pay specific attention to our Facebook page. That's where we do our live shows 2 each month. To get some insider access and upcoming guests, you can also check out the Sponsored Rider Club on Facebook. That also offers a forum for best practices sharing, so you can ask questions and get answers from the motorsports community. A special thanks goes out to our sponsors, 4 Wheel Parts, AMSOIL, SolderWeld, Bold Racing, TopThePodium.com, and Crash Addict Industries. I also want to shout out some of our other partners, GSP XTV, MBRP, HMK USA, Studboy Traction, Diode Dynamics, and High Octane Coffee. I look forward to serving you again next week. Until then, have fun and ride safe.